Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursaleen. Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Chapter 3. Sentences with connected pronouns and pointing nouns. In this chapter, we will integrate the previous two chapters. We will use sentences, we will look at sentences that have both pronouns and connected pronouns and pointing nouns. So a lot of the material in this chapter will look familiar, plus we'll do some vocab as well. So to start with, let's look at two words which we already know. Kitabun, book, and shajaratun, tree. Kitabun is singular, masculine. Shajaratun is singular, feminine. So if I say hada kitabun, you can see ha is for attention grabbing, dha is the ismul ishara. Loosely speaking, hada is ismul ishara, but if you want to be technical about it, ha is just a particle, as we learned earlier, to grab attention, and it's for near distance. Dha is technically the ismul ishara, but loosely speaking, many teachers and books refer to hada as ismul ishara. That's loosely speaking. Kitabun, a book. So this is a book. Now, if I look at this sentence, I see no pronouns. I see no pronouns. What I see is a pointing noun. However, if you look at the next sentence, hada kitabi, now what do I see? I see pointing noun, hada. I see kitab attached to the connected pronoun ya. So I have a sentence here, a simple Arabic sentence that has both pointing noun, hada, and connected pronoun, the ya, hada kitabi. So that's the masculine, right? Because you can see hada is masculine and kitabun is feminine. Kitabun is also masculine. Let's look at now the feminine. In the next box here in the table, we see feminine. Hadhihi shajaratun. Hadhihi shajaratun. It's wrong to say hadha shajaratun. That's wrong. Never say that. That's a grammatical error. It should be hadhihi shajaratun. So vihi technically is the pointing noun, and ha is the attention grabber, and shajaratun is feminine. And if I want to say this is my tree, I say hadhihi shajarati. I just add a pronoun at the end, so I get this is my tree. Simple Arabic sentences, connected pronouns and pointing nouns. So that's for the singular masculine, and this is for the singular feminine. Let's look at the duels. Hadhani kitaban. Hadhani kitabani. If I stop, I don't have to pronounce the kasra, so I can say kitaban, but if I don't stop, I pronounce the kasra, kitabani. So hadhani kitaban, these two are two books. This translation sounds a little weird, doesn't it? It's a little weird in English because you don't talk like that in English. But the reason I put this translation is to emphasize the duality. Hadhani, these two, kitabani, two books. You see, in Arabic, the number and gender is everywhere. And of course, pointing noun brings a third dimension which is the distance. So you have number, you have gender, which applies universally to everything. But then you also have the dimension of distance, which is applicable to pointing nouns. So you have near. And because it's near, I translate it as these. If I want to say these two are my two books, I say hadhani kitabaya. Kitabaya. Okay. Notice the fatha on the ya. The fatha on the ya. That's important. So if I stop, I say kitabai. But if I don't stop, I say kitabaya. I'm going to pronounce all the harakas so you can hear it pronounced correctly. Hadani kitabaya. The ya here has a fatha. The ya here, what is the haraka of the ya here? There's no haraka, so you can assume it's sukoon, because sukoon is absence of any haraka. We don't have to write the sukoon on the ya. So once again, hadhani kitabani, hadhani kitabaya. These two are my two books. This sentence has both words dual and pointing noun. This sentence has three words. You have the pointing noun hadhani, loosely speaking, but if you want to be technical, the ha is the attention grabber, and dhani is technically the pointing noun. And then you have kitaba. And what happened to the noon? If you look at the noon of duels, you know every duel ends with a noon with a kasra. That noon is lost. It's deleted. You delete that noon if you connect a possessive pronoun. That noon is deleted. So you don't say kitabani, you say kitaba, yeah, like that. So you have to delete that noon of duels if you attach a connected pronoun. So that's the duels for the masculine. Let's look at the duels for the feminine. Hatani shajaratani. These two are two trees. You have hatani, pointing noun. And notice hatani is different from hadhani. First difference is that there's a ta that indicates it's feminine. Second difference is that the alif, you look at the alif khanjariya, the dagger alif, is not present in the feminine. It's clearly, explicitly written as a proper alif. Here, it's written as a dagger alif. So that's an important difference between masculine and feminine. If I want to say these two are my two trees, you say hatani shajarataya. Hatani shajarataya. Again, the noon of duality is deleted. This noon is deleted, so you get hatani shajarataya. The next thing is al-jam'u, which of course is plural. Hadhihi kutubun. These are books. Now, as soon as you see this sentence, a red flag appears. And you're probably scratching your head and saying, wait, what? Why do I have hadhihi? Isn't hadhihi used for singular feminine? Is this a typo? What's going on here? It's not a typo. This is correct. The reason why it's correct is we cannot use the plural pointing noun, ha'ulai. The plural pointing noun, ha'ulai, you cannot use. You cannot use the plural pointing noun. Why? Because if you remember, we mentioned that the plural pointing noun is only used for what? For humans, angels, and jinn. When I say kutubun, kutubun is objects, books. Kutub is plural of kitab. So you have kitabun, a book. Kutubun is plural. And because kutubun is objects, we cannot use haula'i. Okay? We cannot use haula'i because it's only used for humans, angels, or jinn. So what do? We're out of pointing nouns. We don't have any more pointing nouns left. So the Arabs decided that, okay, if you cannot use haula'i, let me go back quickly. If you cannot use haula'i, then what do? Well, they decided that for non-human plural things, they're going to go with hadhihi. Yes, hadhihi is singular feminine, but it's also used for non-human plural things, objects. So that's why you say hadhihi kutubun. And if you have a connected pronoun, you say hadhihi kutubi. These are my books. So remember, to point at a plural, non-human or plural of objects or animals, you use hadhihi. You cannot use haula'i. You cannot use ulaika because those are reserved for humans, angels, and jinn only. They can also be used for their attributes. But don't worry about the attribute part. We'll talk about that in Quranic Linguistics series later on, inshallah. So let's do now the feminine. هذه أشجار. These are trees. شجرة is singular. شجرتان is dual. أشجار is plural. So one of the questions that may come up is, how do I know the plural of kitab is kutub? You have no way of knowing. It's just something you have to look it up or know from a book or teacher. This is what they call sama'i. It's not predictable. It's not rule-based. It's just random. That's just how it is. Once you know it, then you try to remember it, and you memorize it. You try to remember it. So you just have to know that the plural of kitab is kutub, and the plural of shajara is ashjar. And sometimes you have more than one possibilities for plural. And this is a special type of plural called broken plural. And we'll talk about those plurals in chapter 6, inshallah. Up until now, the plurals that we saw were plurals like muslimuna and muslimatun, and those only apply for humans, right? Muslimuna works for humans only. Muslimatun is usually used for humans, but it can also be used for other things that we'll talk about those things later, inshallah. But this type of plural is a weird type of plural. It's unpredictable. It's kind of random. Ashjar. Why is it ashjar? Why is it kutub? That's just how it is. You just have to remember it. Remember that. So hadhi ashjarun, these are trees. And we'll talk about this type of plural more in chapter 6. It's a special type of plural called broken plural. It's a really cool and fun concept. We'll get to that, inshallah, later. Right now, just remember the plural of kitab is kutubun and the plural of shajaratun is ashjar. And lastly, to say these are my trees, you just say hadhihi ashjari. Hadhihi ashjari. These are my trees. That's it. That's the lesson pretty much. And then the next you have some practice. You take the word qalam, which is mudhakkar, masculine, and you take the word baqaratun, which is feminine, both are singular, and you complete these blanks. So hadha qalamun, and then here you say hadhihi baqaratun. And the plurals of qalam and baqaratun I've mentioned here. You have no way of knowing, so I provided that for you in the workbook in this practice. Plural of qalam is aqlamun, and the plural of baqaratun is abqarun. And there are other plurals also. We need not worry about those. Okay. So this is how you complete this table and check your answers using the online answer key. Next, you have qamisun and safinatun. So more vocab for you to apply. Qamis means shirt and safinatun means shirt. Excuse me. Safinatun means ship and qamis means shirt. Just some random vocab in case you're wondering what's this vocab is about. It's just random vocab to give you more practice in applying these rules that we just learned. The plural of qamis is qumsan, and the plural of safinatun is sufunun. Again, these are broken plurals. You have no way of knowing, so that's why I provided them. Once you see them, now you're expected to know them, and on the quiz, you will be asked to identify. Kalbun is dog, just more random vocab. Kalbun is dog. Mir'atun is mirror. Mir'atun is mirror. Mirror, and again, you say, for example, hada kalbun, and then next one would be hada kalbi, and so on and so forth. And then the plural of kalb is kilab. Please remember this, plural of kalb is kilab, and the plural of mir'atun, the plural of mir'atun is maraya. Maraya. These are just, that's just how it is. It doesn't seem to be a rule or logic behind it. That's just how it is. Filun is elephant. Mazra'atun is farm. Again, just some more random vocab for you to learn. This vocab is going to help you with Quranic Arabic as well as Hadith and other books. Fialatun. Fialatun. Fialatun is the plural of elephant. Mazari'. Mazari' is the plural of mazra'atun. More vocab. Jabalun is mountain. Qit'atun, piece. Jabalun, mountain. Qit'atun, piece. And again, in all of these vocab, the first word is mudhakkar, masculine, and the second word is feminine. And I deliberately chose it that way so you can practice the masculine in the first row of this table and the feminine in the next one. Jibalun is the plural, mountains. Qita'un, qita'un is the plural of qit'at. Asadun, lion. Madrasatun is school. So the plural of asad is usud, usud, and the plural of madrasatun is madaris, madaris. Just remember these plurals. And then we have nahrun, which is river. Again, mudhakkar, masculine. Nahrun, river. Sahifatun, it's a scroll or something used to write. For example, paper, leaves, etc. Originally, sahifatun means scroll. Like in the scroll of Ibrahim alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam. The plural of nahrun is anhar, and the plural of sahifatun is suhuf. Suhuf. I know that's a lot of vocab, but hang in there. That's all the vocab there is. So let's review the vocab one more time. Qamisun, shirt. Safinatun, ship. Plurals are qumsan and sufunun. Kalbun, dog. Mir'atun, mirror. Kilabun, maraya are the plurals for dog and mirror. Filun, elephant. Mazra'atun, farm. Fialatun, mazari'. Jabalun, mountain. Qit'atun, piece. Jibalun, mountains. Qit'un, pieces. Asadun, lion. Madrasatun, school. Usudun, plural of lions. Plural of lions, so lions. Madaris, schools. And finally, nahrun, river. Sahifatun, scroll or something used to write, for example, something used to write on, for example, paper and leaves, etc. They used to use leaves and paper and other things to write on. Anharun, rivers. Suhufun, plural of sahifa. After completing this practice, Please check your answers using the online answer key and then take the chapter 3 test. والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.